So I just wanted to take the time out to acknowledge that and, challenge us in a way that this is a season of giving. And to me, every season is a season of giving because you don't just need around the holidays, but it's amplified around these times because while a lot of people, man, they're not happy during the holidays because it's a reminder of what they do not have.
Right. And
welcome to the Clear in the Air podcast with D and Q.
I'm D.
I'm Q. Yo, man, we are in the last month of the year, December. The month or the season, as some may say, it's the season of giving. Let's talk about that today.
Let's do it, brother.
All right. So essentially, again, whether you celebrate Hanukkah, whether you celebrate Kwanzaa, whether you celebrate Christmas, I think the general idea is family, community, right? And in that idea, there is typically gift giving around your loved ones. Would you agree?
I do.
Okay. So we just kind of want to talk about, this holiday season that we're in and how you feel, men as leaders of our families, communities, etc. Is it important for you to receive gifts? Do you want to be the one who gives gifts? Or both? Talk to us.
I think the idea of gifts has changed for me. The older I've gotten. When I was younger, I was all about receiving. I was the kid that had the Christmas list, the birthday list. You know what I mean? I look forward to every year having a birthday party with gifts and waking up Christmas morning and running down and opening the gifts. So I was that kid. The older I've gotten, I would much rather give than receive. I don't really expect a gift on Christmas. My parents want to give me some, I may say some money or something, but I don't physically need them to go do anything for me. They always offer, I'm like, no, I'm good. I just think now, we appreciate family more. And just being with them, I don't necessarily need something tangible. It's cool, but I don't expect it. I would much rather give, and that goes for anybody. That goes for parents. That goes for my significant other. That may go for my nieces and nephews, my crew. Like I'm all about giving gifts. Gifts is very high on my love language list, and we won't go too deep into that. I'm sure that could be another topic, but it is rather high on my list. So I do see the importance and the value of it. But again, the older I've gotten, it's not. I don't need it personally for that aspect of my life to be satisfied. How about you, brother?
For me, having a family, I'd rather see them happy.
Right.
I would rather see them, the smiles on their faces.
Right.
And I mean, it's whether you're saying it's a Christmas thing, a holiday thing, or just in general. I think the gift of giving goes beyond even just the season that we're in.
Right.
But I must say it does feel good, whether you're saying traditionally or just in general, to be able to do, number one, to have the means to do, and to have a heart to want to do it. I think the second thing is probably the most important, having the heart to do it, because
correct,
you don't have to have a lot to be a blessing to somebody if that's what you decide to be.
Correct.
So for me, it's solely about the family, bro. And I don't want to limit it to just that because there's plenty of people I don't know who I would love to be a blessing to. For example, you know that I commute, and while my commute has gotten shorter, and and the location of where I commute is different. Previously in my commute, man, you know, certain places you hit in DC, you coming across people who, whether you want to call them panhandlers, whether you want to call them, some people call them bums, some people call them homeless, whatever you want to call them. I like to be a blessing, bro, when I can. You know, it's not up to me to decide what you're gonna do with what I bless you with. And I don't say this to brag. I just say it to kind of, you know, because anybody can get up on a podcast and say whatever, but to kind of put the money where your mouth is, so to speak. You know, bro, I try to, $20 a week, see who it is I might be able to bless.
That's dope, bro. That's dope.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah.
I try. So, and I guess my mind really is just kind of like, man, I would love to do more around the holidays. Now, this is the thing. I'm almost getting ready to jump to something else, to a question that just came to my mind. I want to pivot just a minute, though.
Well, can we go back before you do that? I wanted to say, you mentioned something about the heart, you know, and I think that's very important because a lot of times, I think a majority of the times, it should come from the heart. You know what I mean? And it should be done in a manner in which, you know, people may not even know. You know what I mean? If it really comes from the heart, you know what I'm saying? So, like for instance, as long as I've known you, I've never known. I didn't know you did that, but it wasn't. I didn't need to know. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the biggest things with giving gifts. And we're saying gifts, but you know, it can also be blessings, you know, stuff like that. So
Stop,
all right, I'm
stop,
gonna chill. I'm gonna
stop,
chill. But that heart
stop.
piece, was very important. And
True.
I wanted to bring that up.
I'm glad you did. Now, there's something that you kind of touched on lightly, and I'm going to expound on it a little bit further. So you mentioned family being more important for you, to just being around them. I'm going to ask a question, then make a statement. Do you think that the pandemic helped you to really see that a little bit clearer?
And it's crazy you said that. I was gonna get there a little later. Yeah, for sure. You know, and you know, a lot of people may know my story. I had a certain situation in my family which made me, you know, appreciate that time with family more. But the pandemic definitely accentuated that. Just because it was the unknown, bro, and people were just leaving here by the thousands, hundreds of thousands, and it was affecting, you know, mostly older people. So yeah, man, I had already been on that wave, but the pandemic definitely, uh, you know, heightened that. But it was also difficult because you couldn't really, you know, you kind of had to keep your distance. So yeah, yeah, but definitely did.
Okay. I think, and obviously not to speak for anybody by any means, but I think by default, we kind of really had to look at the pandemic and say, I might not be able to get these gifts to you even if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But Zoom conversations, like the little things, like that was a gift in and of itself. And we're going to go there in a little bit too. But I think that really is shed a light, not necessarily on just you, but I think for most people, being able to be around family for the holidays now, as opposed to 2 years ago, just makes that much more of a difference. Okay. Um, Now let's look at the flip side for a second, because I think for all of us, even myself, even though, yes, I love to be able to be the one to be a blessing. We're not gonna lie, bro. Even if it's one gift or situation that you receive, it feels good. Feels
Yeah,
good. Now,
yeah,
you said it's a love language of yours.
right.
Talk to us.
I just I, I know gifts are just kind of important to me now. Although the giving rather than receiving has changed, but I still think it's an important aspect to me. Like I
Right.
like I like giving gifts. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With my god children and nieces and nephews, I'm the cool uncle because I'm always
Mm-hmm.
getting some fresh gifts for them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. I got my Christmas event coming up every year for Christmas. I always hand Christmas gifts out to the ladies, but since the pandemic, I've extended that to teachers, educators, first responders, any nurse, or anybody in the medical field. Just letting you know that we appreciate everything that you do. So I'm actually in the process of doing that now. I've been grinding all week, tearing the city up, trying to get all these gifts for the event. But that's just something I've always done. I don't know. I just want to show people that I appreciate them, and that's my way of showing my appreciation for them. And I get satisfaction out of that.
So, so you kind of, I don't want to say unknowingly, but you really kind of confirmed, yeah, the pandemic. It's not saying it's the only thing that, you mentioned age, but the pandemic as well has caused for you to say, you know what? Yeah, bro. Um, I'm gonna be honest, man. I know we, are kind of talking about a different holiday season, but we're talking about the holiday season nonetheless. And one of the things, which this will be a podcast later, one of the things I love about this time of year is why it's the most wonderful time of
Oh,
the
the
year.
you.
Now, see, for me, one of the reasons I feel like it is because you've got the back-to-back big holidays of the year.
Right.
And so it's definitely family time. It's definitely, if you don't get to see a person for this one, you get a chance to see him maybe for that one, So, uh, and then again, I'm getting ahead of myself just a little bit, so I need to stop. But so let me ask you this: uh, do you think that giving a traditional gift is the only part of gift giving? Like, or in other words, are there other ways in which you give gifts? Gifts?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know the old saying, your presence is a gift.
Mm,
So sometimes it could just be showing up. It can be
mm,
supporting someone. It can be it could be tangible or intangible. Like,
mm,
yeah, I think whatever that person, you know, whatever is important to them, that can be the gift that you give to them. It doesn't necessarily have to be tangible.
yeah.
So a lot of some people, especially, you know, maybe someone of the opposite sex, it's like, their
Mm,
love language may not be the same as yours.
mm,
So gifts, whether it's tangible or whatever, it may not be as important to them. That's a lesson I had to learn a long time ago. Like
mm,
yeah, I don't even want to start preaching, but some people don't care for the gifts. They rather have the time, the quality time,
mm.
or the physical touch. You know what I mean? So that was definitely a lesson I had to learn. Kind of just had to get to know people. And
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes, yeah, the gift does not have to be something tangible or something monetary.
What you just said is key, bro. I don't even think I shared this with you. So this past Friday, first Friday in the month of December, that's my cousin who lost her father, my great uncle, with my presence at the funeral.
Right.
And I hadn't talked to her in a while. And I reached out to her once I found out, and I said, "Yo, I'm really sorry, that you lost your father, that we lost uncle." And she thanked me for that, and she said, "It would be great to see you if you could make it.
See, drop that nugget right there, right?
It would be great to see you." And I didn't tell her I was coming. I had every intention on doing so. I made it, bro, and you could just see how thankful she was just again the presence, because I hadn't seen her in a while. And a lot of times we typically, the only time family comes together is when somebody dies or family reunion.
Okay.
Maybe, but so let's change the narrative. What if even then people don't come together?
Right. And you
So
don't even got that.
exactly. So
Right.
it was just a blessing. The time, seeing family members I hadn't seen in a while again, didn't necessarily want to meet on that occasion. But I feel like it was a blessing just to be there. And I think that meant more, because what you realize is people don't, it's nothing money could have done or gifts could have done to console her in that moment.
Right. Right.
Okay.
And it's kind of tough, bro, because you could send flowers, or you can contribute towards like the food or whatever for the repast, bro. But your presence there, like she'll always remember that. And
Yeah.
I know sometimes sometimes it may not be possible. I mean, every time it cannot be possible, but the fact that how we always say, especially when it comes to like God in church, press, right? Press your way out. So the fact that you was able to press your way to the funeral, that was a gift that she, you know what I mean? Like she'll
Yeah.
always cherish that gift.
Yeah.
I have a similar story, just real quick. Last month, our home church in New Jersey celebrated 50 years.
Mm.
And my parents, since they haven't taken any trips since the pandemic, but they really wanted to go to the service. And my godmother wanted to go, and then some other close friends of our family who live about an hour and a half from here, they wanted to go as well. So they decided to rent a van, and obviously they wanted me to go to pretty much drive, right? Now, mind you, it's kind of last minute. It was one of the few weekends where I really didn't have no plans. So I kind of just wanted to chill and just kind of rest up, because I knew, stuff was about to get crazy. And, I was just like, man, I really don't feel like driving this 5.5 hours. And I'm in the car with all older people. I can't really, out of respect for them, I'm not going to listen to certain music and do this and that. You know what I mean? So I'm just literally just driving for that long amount of time. But then I was like, man, they really want to do this. And it's important that they be there. It lands on the weekend when I didn't have nothing to do. So I took that as like, all right, well, maybe that's a coincidence. And I wanted to be there too, bro. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in that church and I was eager to see who would come back and see people. And so I did it, bro. Made the sacrifice and had a wonderful weekend, man. And it was great to see everybody. I would have been so disappointed if I didn't go. And it was just good to spend that time with my family, my godmother, and just to hear them like talk in the car, and they just catching up on old times, and to hear them talk about stuff that's going on now. It was just a blessing, bro. And the church, they were so surprised because they didn't know who was coming. They obviously invited everybody, and but yeah, they didn't know we were coming. So that
Yeah.
was the gift that I could provide for my family and them, but also our home church in Jersey.
True.
So, and again, that was just the presence and the effort. A lot of times it's effort. You know what I mean? And you know about that being, a husband, a father, that effort. That's what people, really appreciate. So that's dope that we had two kind of comparable stories to tell within the past month. I didn't even know about the funeral. And I think I told you about the
No,
trip to Jersey.
nah,
I'm not sure. Oh, okay, my
nah.
bad. But you've had a lot going on. We've had a lot going on.
Yeah,
Especially since this past month or so. So yeah,
yeah. I think we can clear the air
for sure.
and just as a way to really kind of summarize what we're saying here in terms of giving. One quick thing to remind people about, again, because I think, yes, it's the holiday season, but for me, I don't know about you, I think about more than just the actual holiday. It is the most wonderful time of the year to me because, again, you've got fall where it turns into winter. And I feel like just that weather in and of itself is cuddle time, intimate time, chill time, family time.
Right.
And we did the Vernon and Vontae Davis first annual turkey giveaway. And one of the things that kind of stood out to me that Vontae mentioned was how his grandmother always says that those who give shall receive.
She's inside, but she always told us that those who give shall receive. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's just always been on our heart. We want to continue to do more for the community.
Facts.
I think that's even the scripture that says it's better to give than receive.
Right.
And whether you look at it from a spiritual standpoint or not, I just feel like if we view things in those ways more, that it is better to be a blessing. Then the world will be far better off than where we are. Because if everybody had that mindset, I feel like when you're giving, whether it's out of excess or not, if there is a lack that you have, it's going to come back to you in some kind of way when you need it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I definitely agree with that. And again, especially when you do it not expecting things in return, but when you're doing it just out the kindness of your heart, that's when it happens. I'm glad that you brought up that comment that Vontae said, man. Shout out to Vontae, Vernon, my guys. We appreciate the opportunity for being able to give, give back to the
Was
community.
it 1,000 turkeys?
1,000 turkeys, man. I appreciate when Vontae told me about it. I was like, bro, we did. Like, can we? Anything you need us to do, we did. Like, it's automatic. Like, forget the footage and all that. We want to come and help. We want to come and assist. We want to come and work.
Yeah.
So, he was saying, just pull up. So again, man, I want to shout them out and thank them for the opportunity for that.
For sure.
They saying it's going to be an annual thing, and we plan on being there annually. So,
yeah. That makes me think of another story, bro. Have you ever participated in like clothing drives around this time? Because I think that's another, and we're getting ready to talk about as we clear the air, ways to give, kind of summarize that. But have you ever played a part of that? I know for me, I just moved. And so, it really caused me to look at, do I need all of these things that I'm getting ready to take from location A to location B? Bro, it must have been like 3 black, like work shoes, bags of clothes or stuff that I'm like, you know what? Not that I'm balling or anything like that, but like, I could use something newer.
Right.
And I can be a blessing with this. Matter of fact, I called a buddy of mine from my old church. I met him and I had about, 15 dress shirts that were too big for me that I was just kind of holding on to. And I was like, man, who can I? Oh, brother, such and such. I called the one brother. I said, yo, can you take these to church for brother such and such? He met me. He took care of it. Boom, there it is. So I like this season, man, because it also gives us an opportunity, an extra added, because let me say this part and we're going to close. Some of us have the luxury of being able to go and afford new. Some of us don't know where the next meal is coming from. Some of us don't know. So that's not a new situation. That's the survival stuff. Some of us are finding it tough to survive, let alone you're in a position to go get something new. So I just wanted to take the time out to acknowledge that and, challenge us in a way that this is a season of giving. And to me, every season is a season of giving because you don't just need around the holidays, but it's amplified around these times because while a lot of people, man, they're not happy during the holidays because it's a reminder of what they do not have.
Right. And I've had to be more cognizant of that because I know a lot of people that, like you say, are not happy during the holidays because it reminds them of someone that's no longer here or something that they no longer have.
Exactly.
So here we are looking forward to Thanksgiving and Christmas and even New Year's, and there are people in this world who literally dread it. To answer your questions about a clothing drive, yeah, I've done all that, but I also every month I donate to the veterans. So I actually just did it this morning. they pick it up like it's normally like every first Tuesday of the month. But they'll drop some off in the mail, letting you know what the date will be for the following month. And I'll just, I'll take time over the month here and there and just put stuff in the bag. And I like it because they don't just take clothes, they'll take like appliances, electronics, like pretty much anything that people may need. We automatically think clothes and shoes. Right. But they accept a lot of stuff. It makes me feel good knowing that I'm, helping some veterans because, a lot of times these veterans come home and it's like they have a rough time, adjusting back to society, and they kind of out here struggling. These are people that fought for our country. So I take great pride and comfort in knowing that I do that once a month. So, and you were about to say, what are some ways you could do that? I implore people to look into that. That's definitely a productive way to give back.
Well, before we close the air, can you tell us what that organization is that you give to?
I want to say, and I wish that you would have told me because I would have grabbed the thing. I want to say it's AMVETS. What we'll do at the end of this video, we will provide the information. Either that or we can drop another video, like a little quick joint, and I'll let the information there. I want to say it's AMVETS. Yeah,
put it in the description.
Right. My bad. Yeah,
it'll be in the description.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to, and it's dope because they will come right to your house and pick it up. You could just put it at the front, same place you may put your trash, your trash bin or whatever. Just put it right at the front of your driveway or by your mailbox, and they come pick it up, and they leave you a slip, so you can't claim it on your taxes. But again, you ain't really doing it for that. You're doing it because you're helping people in need. But if that is a way for you to be more motivated to do that, then yes, you can take that slip and file that on your taxes. So, but I like it because it's once a month. So it's, even if you're not even thinking about it, you'll get that reminder in the mail, like, oh, and then just put stuff in the bag over the course of the month. You just got to remind yourself what Tuesday it is. Like I said, it's normally like the first Tuesday of the month. And my trash goes out on Tuesday. So I always have to remember I always had that reminder that my trash goes out on Tuesday. And I'm like, oh, is this the Tuesday that they come pick up? And it was this morning, and they come pick it up, leave the slip right on your mailbox. So that I think that's a dope way. Obviously, any community events, check your local community centers. Like you say, any clothing drives, food drives, places like the food bank, a lot of that stuff A lot of those places do a lot of things during the holidays. Churches, um, yeah. Oh, check. You know what? Check seniors. A lot of times, seniors we forget about our seniors. So check, see how you can help give back to seniors. They have a lot of senior programs that's going on. I actually did one last week. They had it was something simple, like a little cake bake thing. They had seniors come and bake cakes. And so they asked me to donate the icing. I was like, yeah, I can do that. So I just had to go to a bunch of stores but buy all this icing, but whatever. You know what I mean? But just to see the senior smiles on their faces, they baking the cakes and decorating the cakes, like that stuff is priceless, man. And they'll always remember that. Then they got to keep the cakes, take them home. They made one for me. I didn't even realize it. So I was able to take a cake home. So yeah, man. I'm all about giving back. So there's plenty of ways to do it. I implore y'all to look into it and do it. Like you were saying, bro. This world would be a much better place if we just look out for each other, be kind to each other, respect one another.
So, dope way to really kind of clear the air. I want to kind of remind us of ways that we can, not ways we can give, things we can give. You just kind of talked about ways, and I got about 4 things that we can give. Obviously, you can give money. I talked about doing that. I think that might even be, in some cases, easier for some.
It is, because you know what we normally hear that with.
Yeah.
The single parents, and maybe they're not involved in the kid's life, but they send money. So
Yeah. Time, we mentioned that, and
exactly.
I think that one probably hits home the most, because once people are gone, you realize how little time you really have.
Right.
Another thing you can give, obviously, is gifts. Some people prefer, maybe I'm not going to give money, but I'll give you the gift, the thing that you asked for, as opposed to giving you the money so you can go get it. But I think
not use that money for what you need to get.
Exactly. Now, we may say time is the same as presence. I don't think so, because how many times have we said that fathers are right in the home, but the mom or the kids don't feel the presence of the father?
Right. Or vice versa.
Exactly. So I think presence is just as important, and it is different from time, because again, quality time, it's not the same thing as presence. And I don't mean presence as in like gifts, presence.
I mean presence.
My presence.
P-R-E-S-E-N-C-E.
C-E, yes. Yeah. My physical self being in the same place where you are. You know what? That's what it is. To me, presence is the time that you spend, the physical time you spend with someone that gives them quality time. That's what I think presence is.
I'm going to put an extension on that, and I'm going to say service. So you can give back with service, like the deeds, the efforts, you know what I mean? So
which is
just the extension.
And it is an extension. It's another combination of those things, because it's your time, it's your presence. But you know what? As we end and clear the air, you know what it is? To summarize it all, the heart you have in giving that time and your presence. So, I think we've cleared the air on that one, B.
Yep, I think so too, bro. Before we end, bro, I just want to say it's good to be back. We been dropping a bunch of episodes here and there, but it's good to be back, my brother. And yeah, that's about it. We glad we back on it, y'all, and we excited for the stuff that's to come.
That's it. We got a couple of things. We got a lot of things, actually. I'm just trying to plan it all and get it all in the time where we can, push it out to you guys. But so that you don't miss anything. Let this holiday season be a great one, and the season of giving. Y'all take care.
Peace.